Hi, everybody. I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Corner, where we discuss all things related to retirement. Today's topic is: do Republicans hate Social Security? And the reason this question comes up is there have been a lot of proposals by many politicians recently on how to save the Social Security Trust Fund, which is scheduled to deplete in about 10 years. Now, the longer we wait to get a solution, the more severe that solution is going to have to be. So, given that elections are coming up in about a year and there's that urgency behind some of these people now, I think we're seeing a lot of proposals. Now, what we're seeing is generally Democrats propose for how to save the system, how to save benefits, and how to increase benefits. The proposals for Republicans are typically benefit cuts or changes that are what you would call negative to the program. So why is this? What's their beef? Why do Republicans care about Social Security so much that they want to cut it? Well, there's the age-old description of the two parties where Republicans want lower taxes and less government. Democrats want to tax and spend, especially for social programs. So there's that. But, you go back to 1935 when this program was passed. It was passed with very wide bipartisan support in both Congress and the Senate. Now, some people will tell you that Republicans were against it then, and the only reason they voted for it was because they saw that it was going to pass, and they didn't want their names on the nay side of the ledger. So a lot of them that didn't vote because they didn't want to say no and they didn't want to say yes. So this probably goes back to 1935, 88 years ago, and Republicans have kind of viewed Social Security as socialism. And I'm not going to argue that there are socialist dynamics to that program. There's socialist dynamics to a lot of programs in the U.S. We are a socialist democracy, whether we like it or not. But the other narrative you hear from a lot of Republicans is, well, we're running a deficit. We have almost $34 trillion in debt. We have to stop spending, and this is one space where we can lower our spending. And, now the question becomes, are they stupid? Do they not know how Social Security works? Or are they lying to us? Because Social Security does nothing to add to the deficit. Absolutely nothing. All the money used for Social Security comes from employer contributions, employee contributions, from earnings on the investments in the trust fund, which are Treasury securities. Trust fund received about $67 billion in both fiscal 23 and 22 from those investments, and from taxes, income taxes on Social Security benefits that some of us pay. That was somewhere between 45 and $50 billion last year. So what are the Republicans telling us? Why are they telling us that it causes the deficit to balloon or it causes the government to owe more money? Well, here's kind of what they're saying. As we've talked before in some of my videos, the government is required by law to borrow all the money in the trust funds. So they replace the money with securities or bonds or bills, Treasury securities, and they put that money in their general fund and spend it for whatever. Now, it's not because they did that they spent the money. They were going to spend the money anyway. So there's about 2.8 trillion right now, a little bit more than that in the trust fund. You can't say that if the government didn't borrow it, they weren't going to spend it. They were going to spend $2.8 trillion, and they just would have borrowed it elsewhere. They would have issued treasury bonds just like they do every week of every year now, and they would have borrowed that money from somewhere else. So it doesn't change the indebtedness of the program. Some Republicans say, well, because there's not enough money coming in to pay benefits right now, about 96% of the benefits are paid for by what's coming in. The other 4% is covered by the trust fund. So they're saying, well, in order to pay back Social Security, which they have to do to pay benefits, they have to go out and borrow money. And that's causing the deficit to increase. Well, what they're not telling you is, okay, they go out and they borrow $40 billion to pay pay back to the trust fund so the trust fund could pay benefits, but they no longer owe that to the trust fund. It washes. It's an absolute wash. The one difference you can point to is the borrowing they're doing now is probably coming at a higher interest rate than the money they're paying back to the trust fund. So there is a slight increase in interest costs, but it's insignificant when you compare it to the amount of debt we have and the size of that program. It's a ridiculous thesis to throw forward. So what's going on? And I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. Are they lying because they hate the program because it's socialist? Are they lying because they actually don't know the truth? They don't know how Social Security works? And I hate to think that, but I've seen enough evidence from both Republicans and Democrats that no, they do not understand how Social Security works. Interestingly enough, and I'll attach a video to this. There's a 1983 or 80, I think it's 84 video of Ronald Reagan, who commissioned the first group that actually cut benefits, where he's talking about the exact same thing I just said, that Social Security is fully funded outside of the government. The government doesn't pay for it. There's no effect on the deficit, and there's no effect on the debt. Ronald Reagan, Republican of Republicans, the guy they all point to for Republican values, he's telling us that no, it doesn't hurt, doesn't add to the deficits. All right, so what's going on? I don't know. Bottom line is it comes out that, and I've talked about this before, there's two ways to save the trust fund. Two things have to happen, one or two or both, probably both, and that's either there's going to be benefit cuts or there's going to be increased taxes. Now, the most popular solution you hear from Republicans is raising the full retirement age from 67 to 68, 69, 70, whatever it is. In effect, what Social Security is telling us is for every year you raise that, there is a 7% reduction in lifetime Social Security benefits in general for people. So if they raise it to 70, you're looking at a very substantial cut to benefits. And that will save the trust fund money. The trust fund will survive a lot longer because of that. But that alone is not going to do it. There's going to be tax increases. It's either going to be the 6.2% that you're paying now is going to go up to 7.5, along with your employer, or they'll leave that alone and they'll take off the tax cap, where in 2024 the first $168,000 roughly is covered by those taxes and nothing above that, and they'll just take that tax cap off, or they'll stop it somewhere at 168 to 250 or 168 to 400. You won't pay taxes. Above 400,000 you'll pay taxes. We talked about that before. Not fair to the high earners because they'll get no bigger benefit out of it, but not saying that won't be done, not saying it's a good solution or not a good solution. It's just what is. It's the only way they're going to solve it. So, I wish I had better news for you. I wish I knew the answer. If you know the answer, why are Republicans so dead set against helping Social Security? Why do they want to cut benefits? What benefit is it to them other than they can say they stopped the socialist program? Why do Democrats want to increase it? Those proposals will never pass. Republicans will never agree to that. It's a huge uphill battle just to get the program solvent as far as the trust fund through the end of the decade, the end of the century, which is their goal. Increased benefits. I would bet heavily against. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but I'm betting against it happening. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think as to why Republicans play this game. Please subscribe. Please like my videos, please share, and most of all, please comment. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you want to talk about. Tell me what you want to hear. Until then, have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next time. Bye.